Hello and welcome to another Tolkien themed episode of My Life in Objects. I'm not talking about books today, it's actually about vinyl, but there's a link into a couple of other things as well that are related to this that I just wanted to show on camera. So back in 1978, around about that time, there was a Lord of the Rings film released, and that film was directed by Ralph Bakshi, and if you've seen the film you'll know that it's not a live action. Well, actually that's not strictly true. There's elements of it that use rotoscoping, but a large percentage of the film is animated. And it was at the time, it would have been the only like Lord of the Rings film that was available. So in 1978 or thereabouts, I went to see it at the cinema. And not long after that, I discovered this. Now, there's no direct connection between this and the film, but obviously there's a connection for me because as a result of seeing the film, I became a bit more aware of other like Lord of the Rings related materials that were out there beyond the books, which by then I think I'd read The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, and was possibly onto the Silmarillion at that point. And then sort of became aware of other things, like there was an encyclopedia that was released officially by the publishers of Tolkien. So I was starting to sort of track down all these various components, and this was one of them. I just stumbled across it in a record shop. This is actually one of my earliest pieces of vinyl. I'm still having trouble remembering which album I bought, which was the very first album I bought on vinyl. And this is pretty close, I think, because this also, well, the interesting thing about this is, so this was actually released in 1972, so way before that film from 78. But as it mentions on the back, this is actually a reissue. So as a result of the film coming out in 78, and it says, actually I'll read this out here because it's interesting. It says the early 70s saw a spate of concept albums inspired by everything under and in some cases beyond the sun. Few were more successful than Bo Hansson's music inspired by Lord of the Rings, musical sketches interpreted from Tolkien's famed trilogy. First released in 1972, the album gained the Lanky Swede a gold disc in Britain and an impressive worldwide sales. Prior to the release of this album, Hansson had been virtually unknown outside his native country, though his tonal experiments had attracted the attention of contemporary musicians, including the late Jimi Hendrix, with whom Bo had recorded several hours of still unissued material. I don't know if that's still the case. Maybe Hendrix fans out there might be able to enlighten me on that, whether or not it did ever surface. As well as writing the music, Hansson plays organ, guitar, bass and Moog synthesizer. He is joined by the aptly named Rune Carlson on drums, Sten Bergman on flute, Gunnar Bergsten on saxophone, and some unidentified musical friends. With renewed interest in Tolkien's classic through the new Lord of the Rings film, Bo Hansson's earlier version not only stands the test of time, but takes on a fresh importance. I was trying to look on here and see when this reissue was actually done. I'll get it out at the moment. You can see this one's on the Charisma record label. I think it's the same record label that Genesis were on, actually. I'm not sure what label this was originally released on. So it does have 72 on here. There's obviously the original date. This also, and I don't have it unfortunately, I think it disintegrated because I had it on my wall for years in my bedroom, had a poster that came with it. This is just regular black vinyl, nothing spectacular. This had a poster with it, and I think it's mentioned at the bottom here. Yeah, picture of Professor J.R.R. Tolkien by Snowdon. He's sitting in front of a tree. Very elderly J.R.R. Tolkien. And so yeah, that was pretty cool poster, but like I said, it's long gone. Yeah, but pretty cool artwork. Sleeve designed by Rodney Matthews, and there is a certain style to this. It does remind me, and I don't know if they've used the same artist because it's not a band I listen to a lot, but there's another band, a band from the UK, who released an album called No Mean City, and their name escapes me. It's just literally, that album cover has just jumped into my head, and it had a similar look or a similar style to this, so I don't know if it was the same author. Yeah, so well, clearly this must have been released post 78 because it mentions about the new Lord of the Rings film at the time, the one from 1978. But yeah, pretty cool. So just on to a couple more things related to this. So the film itself, that's the classic sort of movie poster that I remember seeing when the film came out. So this is a more up-to-date DVD. I don't know, I'm trying to actually remember if I ever owned this on VHS, but this was issued in 2001. It came in quite a large brown box actually, which again I don't know if I've got kicking around anywhere. And to be honest with you, I can't even remember what else came in the box. There's a few stills here from the animated film, but yeah, nothing particularly spectacular. There's no really, I mean, it says access Lord of the Rings special features. I'm going to be honest with you, it's a long time since I've watched this film, and it has a yeah, there was I think a version of The Hobbit that was done that was in a similar style. It's got a similar style of animation. But what was interesting in it, I think, was the use of rotoscoping for things like the orcs in there. And I think it was used for a couple of other things as well. So that was used. That's where, you know, you take you film like a live action scene, and then it's coloured in, I think, after the fact. So it worked really well. It gave it this sort of ghostly look for a lot of characters where that was, you know, that was needed. I should watch this again actually, because it's pretty interesting to see it, particularly after the release of all of the more contemporary Lord of the Rings stuff. Now the other thing I did track down, and this must have been in the 2000s, was this. So this is a copy of the same album on CD. You can see this. Before I emigrated over to Nova Scotia, I actually got rid of all my jewel cases for my CDs, and all my CDs are in these nice holders. in 3.5 big aluminium cases. So I dug this out from in there just to sort of show you. So that's it's like a printed CD. Yeah, so this year came out this is a reissue from 2002, exclusively licensed to Virgin Records Limited. So yeah, sometime in the early 2000s. So I must have bought this between 2002 and 2009, somewhere in that ballpark. And the reason why I sort of pulled it out, if you look on the back here and compare it with the track listing for this, I don't know how clear that's coming out on camera actually, but what is the case is all of the tracks up to track 12 are on the CD. So the album and the CD are the same in terms of the first 12 tracks. Now it's interesting because I count 13 on the vinyl, so I wonder if they've aggregated a couple here. See if I can spot where they've done that. So we've got Leaving Shire, The Old Forest, Tom and Tom Bombadil, Fog on the Barrow Downs, The Black Riders Fight to the Ford, At the House of Elrond, and The Ring Goes South, A Journey in the Dark, Lothlorien, Shadowfax, Halls of Rohan and the Battle of Pelennor Fields, Dreams of the House of Healing, Homeward Bound, and the Scouring the Shires, and then the Grey Havens. Obviously my math isn't very good here. Why am I counting? Strange. That's funny. Okay, where am I going wrong here? Clearly I cannot count. Strange. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13. Well, isn't that strange? What am I doing wrong here? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, yeah, staring me right in the face. So all they've done on the CD is they're listing Homeward Bound and the Scouring of the Shire together, whereas in here they're not. You can see how they're sort of bunched together on here with the tracks like merge into one another. Okay, that's solved the mystery there. But then on this you get this 13th track, which is Early Sketches from Middle-earth. So it's sort of an additional stuff where you'll hear stuff that was being worked on in a lead into recording this album, which is pretty interesting. And then you get this little like booklet as well. So obviously that's from the back of the CD, jewel case. This is from the front. It's a bit of blurb, nothing particularly, nothing too enlightening, I don't think. Let me just put down the camera there so maybe you can see. Oh, there you go. All of the music on this record was recorded in the winter of 1969. So I'll include a link to Wikipedia. I'm sure most of this stuff will be on Wikipedia and even more depth. But yeah, I suppose in some ways it does explain like just the early parts of the recording, the lead into it, and then how this came to be, lead into this CD. Yeah, so there we go. But yeah, an interesting few artifacts here connected with Tolkien, which I thought I would share. And yeah, I definitely need to watch the animated film again, I think. So thanks once again for watching. Bye for now, and I will catch you in a future episode.